wonder what kind of an attitude they'll take into this one.
Well, this is the pivotal game, as Ron mentioned at the outset, and it will be interesting, Dick, because they were really hammered by Buffalo in that last outing, 6-1. The game is underway. It's cleared into the Quebec zone. That's Jerry Hart, number 6. And we have our first whistle after just 9 seconds of play here in Quebec.
Well, right off the bat, after those 9 seconds, you get Jacques Demers making a change. The youngest coach in the National Hockey League until Gary Green arrived on the scene in Washington. Demers, 35 years of age.
Number 21 for Quebec, Serge Bernier takes the face-off. The puck is shot into the Quebec corner. That's Hoganson, number 33, bumped by Harlamoff. In to help out is Pierre Plante, gets it around to Wally Weir. Weir tries to get it out to Bernier, now feeds a pass. It's stopped at center by Mikhailov, and the Soviets come right back, but they lose it at center ice. Bringing it in for Quebec is Pierre Plante, and he was stopped. And here's Valery Harlamov going in with Mikhailov and Petrov. Harlamov into the corner. Weir knocks him against the boards, and Harlamov getting up slowly in the corner as play goes right back to the other end. This is number 21, Serge Bernier, up to the Soviet line, takes it into the corner. He's bumped off the play, and the puck ahead now to Harlamov, who appears to be all right. Petrov up to the Quebec line, tried to drop it there. He was stopped. Bernier knocks him against the boards, and the puck goes to Kazanov, number 21. Kazanov missed on that pass, trying to get it over to Makarov, and goalie Michel DION came out and slapped it out against the boards, and down the ice it goes. Number 22, Viktor Zlutov, gets it over to Vladimir Luchenko. Luchenko just scoops it outside the line, and turning around there is Buddy Cloutier, and the whistle with 18:31 remaining, and there's no score here in the opening period.
Well, as we mentioned right away, that Nordiques started to shuffle their lines. The Soviets don't do that sort of thing. Here's the hit put on Harlamov by Weir, and Harlamov was slow getting up on the play. Last time in one of these games, Bernie, he was slow getting up was in Philly 4 years ago, and they ended up leaving the ice before that hassle was all settled.
Wasn't that interesting? But did you note, too, Dick, the play went down into the Soviet zone. He was dancing at center, waiting for a pass. There's a shot, and Tretiak stops that, and it's cleared down the ice, and it goes right to Michel DION, who leaves it for number 4, Paul Baxter. Helmut Balderis back to check him. Inside the Quebec zone, it's into the corner. Number 25 is Barry Legg. He goes in there, and they pin it and get a whistle. Notice at the Soviet practice today, following a strenuous 1-hour workout, the coach, Viktor Tikhonov, had a handful of the Soviet players out in a relay system, and they were doing laps around this ice surface. And they were being timed at about 11 to 15 seconds, and that was after the workout, because he was obviously upset with their performance in Buffalo and is hoping they'll snap out of it here tonight against Quebec. Jerry Hart, number 6, slaps it off the boards. Nordique get it out to center. This is their captain, Robbie FTOREK, shooting it in. Back in after it is Starikov, and it's icing against Quebec. And the Quebec Nordiques boast quite a record on Sundays. Played 11 Sunday games and are undefeated, winning 10 and tying 1. Robbie FTOREK, the native of Massachusetts, played 15 games with the Detroit Red Wings, and then joined the WHA and 5 years in the World Hockey Association. He's been quite a favorite with the fans here in Quebec, named the Nordiques captain. Now the puck rolls along the boards. FTOREK tried to hammer it out. It gets outside the line. Number 13 for the Soviets, Volchenkov. There's a delayed penalty coming up, called by Brian Lewis. Still no score. And live from Quebec City, this is Super Series 80 on CTV.
The American on the Nordiques. Robbie FTOREK in the penalty box, roughing the call at 2:32. Just before he was called, he really nailed one of the Soviet players. There's another one.
Well, Mikhailov went in, and Hoganson hauled him down along with Weir. They were checking him. So we get another Quebec penalty just 4 seconds after the minor to Robbie FTOREK.
Not much doubt about that one, Bernie. The Soviets are 0 for 14 on the power play so far in the series. They have an excellent opportunity right here as we take another look at why Dale Hoganson has joined FTOREK in the box, just catching it as the Soviet player hits the deck. Mikhailov. So this is a testy situation for the Nordiques right off the bat. 2:36. It's Hoganson.
2 minutes for hooking at 2 minutes.
Joe Fitchner will be out there to kill off this penalty, along with Jerry Hart and Wally Weir for Quebec. Mihailov, Petrov, and Mikhailov out there. Harlamov, the forward line for the Soviet Union. Here's Hart, backhanding it off the boards. Petrov gets it back to the line to Fedosov. Over Babinov's shot, and that was stopped by Michel Dion. Back to Babinov. Babinov getting set, lets it go. The rebound, and it's stopped by Jerry Hart, and the second shot goes wide. Babinov moves in. Quebec 2 men short. Over to Fedosov. Fedosov back to Babinov. Babinov off the board, setting up. Over to Fedosov. There's a shot, stopped by Dion. And it's cleared down the ice by Bob Fitchner. 1 minute and 18 seconds left in FTOREK's penalty. 1:23 left in Hoganson's penalty. No score. This is Petrov at center. Coming up over the Quebec line. Fedosov at the point, gets the pass over to Babinov. Here's Babinov, number 4, setting it up. Back to Fedosov. Here's a shot, and that's stopped by Michel Dion. Cleared around the boards. Fitchner bumps with Harlamov. It's stopped at the line by Babinov. Over to Fedosov. Fedosov shot, and Dion got his toe in the way of that drive. Into the corner, Harlamov gets it back. Here's a chance for Mikhailov. Passes it over to Petrov. 41 seconds left in 1 penalty. Comes back to Fedosov. To Babinov, a shot, and that's stopped by Dion, and it's slapped down the ice by Wally Weir. And Michel Dion was spectacular, making 3 great saves on that power play. 21 seconds left in the penalty to FTOREK. 26 seconds left in the penalty to Hoganson. Balderis passes it over to Makarov. Makarov, number 15, back to Fedosov. Over to Babinov, and that goes wide. Fedosov moves up, takes it into the corner to Makarov. Right in front, Lukov. Oh, and Dion robbed him. Fedosov is back. FTOREK's on the ice. Oh, and Michel Dion makes another great save. And both teams are back at full strength as Quebec successfully kills off a 2-man penalty. Now, here it comes with Serge Bernier. Quebec killing off the double penalty. Right back over the line, a shot by Pierre Plante. Inside to Bernier, and it's called on the offside. And what a performance, Dick, by Michel Dion. No score with Super Series 80. Pauses for a moment.
Just over 4 minutes. The Soviets have had 9 shots on Michel Dion. I guess 6 or 7 of them coming on this 2-man power play. There is the super stop by Jerry Hart. It was the closest call of the bunch, and there were a lot of close calls. Still no score. What a job by Dion. Now Dion has stopped the play and has thrown his stick out. Yes, he's looking for a new stick. At one point, Bernie, I thought he was injured during that sequence. They had shot the puck down the ice to relieve the pressure. He was bent over double in the goal crease. Went for a little skate as if trying to shake off some kind of an injury.
There was the pressure there in front of the net. He just wanted a breather and leaned on the net a while. But you're right, Dick. He was really under a great deal of pressure. Now the puck is shot into the Soviet zone. Backhanded by Kazadanov. Out to Zlukov. Leduc checks him. Number 15 for Quebec is Kurt Brackenbury trying to get it loose. Brackenbury pushes against Kazadanov, and it's Luchenko. Up to Makarov, to Balderis, back to Makarov. Off the board, bumped there by Paul Baxter into the corner. Baxter knocks him against the board. Here's Balderis, he can move. Gets it in front to Zlukov. Zlukov was knocked heavily to the ice by Brackenbury after he got that shot away. Balderis back to Luchenko, a shot that missed by about 10 feet. Here's Brackenbury trying to get it out for Quebec. It's at center. Brought down by Michel Goulet. Goulet getting set. Oh, Tretiak stopped that as he went in using Leduc on the 2-on-1 break with his shot. And
quite make up his mind whether to pass to the man to his right or let the shot go. And when he finally did shoot, Tretiak had covered the angle totally on the play, moving out just a bit. So Tretiak, who has to be under some fire in the Soviet camp after his performance in Buffalo against the Sabres.
This is Kovin at center. He's being chased out of that face-off position by linesman Ray Scapinello. So number 26 will move in there, Varnikov. He had 2 goals in that game against the Rangers. That shot deflected just wide. Comes over now to Real Kluche. Has trouble with it. And he bumped with Kovin, and both went to the ice. Hoganson off the boards into the Soviet zone. Number 13 back for it, Volchenkov. And trying to keep it in there was Wally Weir, and it goes right back into the Quebec zone. Hoganson knocked against the boards. Weir goes in to help out, has the puck, and just shoots it down the ice into the Soviet zone. Number 14, Starikov, touches it, and it's icing against Quebec.
Well, the Soviets have an interesting schedule coming up. They leave here tonight and go right back to Montreal, and they have given the boys tomorrow to go shopping before they take off for home from Mirabel Airport tomorrow night. Wasn't it a few years ago the Soviets went home with something like 36 dozen boxes of pantyhose? That's true. It was a big item for them.
Well, they wanted to make sure they had their minds on hockey today. They didn't give them the expense money.
That's right.
They'll have it tomorrow. 13:42 remaining in the opening period. There's no score. The Soviets have had glorious scoring opportunities, especially when Quebec were 2 men short. But they successfully killed off the double penalties. Here comes Harlamov, rolls it in front. Mihailov couldn't get that pass. Chased into the corner by Weir. The pass comes to Fedosov. A shot, and that's stopped at a stick save by DION, and it deflected over the top of the net. Fedosov backhands it into the corner. This is Wally Weir trying to get it out to number 8, Mark Tardif. He stopped. Harlamov lost control of the puck. Kluche behind the net to Weir. We've played 7 minutes here in the opening period, and there's still no score.
Well, the line with Kluche and Tardif out there, scoring against scoring, as we look at Soviet number 7, Boris Mikhailov. He was their outstanding player last February in New York in the Challenge Cup Series. The all-time top Soviet goal scorer. Still no score. They played 6:54 here in the first period, but the Soviets had tremendous chances on that 2-man power play.
It's backhanded out there by Jamie Hislop back into the Soviet zone. This is Vladimir Luchenko. Luchenko sent it around the boards. It comes to Balderis at center. Got away from him, but helping out is Makarov. Makarov tried to get a shot away, but Jerry Hart knocked him to the ice. Brought out by FTOREK. FTOREK at center. Shot it over to the far side. It's offside, as Thomas was in the blue line, over the blue line before the puck got there.
Some over anxiousness on the part of both teams. FTOREK there missing on a pass. Harlamov did the same thing just before that. Boy, we've looked at this fellow a long time, haven't we, Tretiak?
And it's hard to believe, Dick, he's still only 27, but many say he's contemplating retiring. That was the word the other night in Buffalo, because I think, well, when he was beaten 6-1, maybe after the game, he was ready to go home. Both teams are at full strength. The puck cleared into the corner. This is Jerry Hart. Makarov chases him back there. Balderis slaps away at the puck, but it's brought out by Hart. Hart then decides to go back into his own zone, clears it around the boards. Thomas, number 22, got a piece of it. Now it's Makarov in the corner. Balderis right in front, a shot, and DION stopped that. As Makarov took the puck right from the corner and in front. Here's a 2-on-1 break now. FTOREK going in. Right in front of the net, a shot, and Tretiak stopped that as they open up here and go end to end.
Boy, once again, the Nordiques have a 2-man break, and again, the puck carrier seems to hesitate as to just what to do. That time, FTOREK with Lacroix to his right. Here's the play down at the Nordique end as Makarov worked his way out of the corner with Balderis standing in front of the net. The Nordiques came right back with this pass that sprung FTOREK loose. 2-on-1. As the winger on the right side is there, but he waited, got in too close again. Tretiak to stop.
Bernier against Kovin. It comes back to Baxter, and his shot is knocked down. Goes back in behind the net. Chasing it there is Volchenkov. He's knocked against the boards by Serge Bernier. Slapping it around is Stewart. Stewart right in front of the net. And Pierre Plante couldn't get a shot as he was knocked off stride. That shot is deflected by Tretiak, and the Soviets fire it down the ice, and back for it is Barry Legg. It's icing against the Soviet Red Army. From the Coliseum, the Soviet Central Red Army and the Nordiques in Game 5 of Super Series 80. This is Bernie Pascal at the Coliseum in Quebec. And there's no score with 11.5 minutes remaining here in the opening period. Bernier in the corner is stopped by Starikov. Now he gets it again. Pierre Plante. He tried to move it in front, and it's shot down the ice by the Soviet player Varnikov. Varnikov tried to stop it there. Plante backhands it. Number 25 for Quebec is Barry Legg, the native of Winnipeg. Takes it up over the line to Bernier, and it's offside at the Soviet line once again.
We may refer to the National Hockey League for a moment. There's a rather interesting game going on tonight in Buffalo, where the Philadelphia Flyers are trying to extend that amazing streak of theirs against the Sabres, and they are tied 1-1 at the end of the first period. Jacques Demers coached first in the WHA in Chicago.
Back to the action here. The puck is slapped over to Fedosov. Trying to get that lead pass at center to Petrov. Goes right back into the Quebec zone, and it's touched by Wally WEIR. And you talk about Jacques Demers, Dick. What a great guy. He spent half hour with us before the game, and just great help to broadcasters, that's for sure.
Well, I mentioned off the top, he's impressed everybody. When's the last time you saw the Soviets ice the puck so quickly, back-to-back, as they did right there?
Well, Quebec have really been doing a job of bottling them up, and successfully killing off that double penalty is obviously taking a little starch out of this Soviet team. Puck is slapped off the boards back into the Quebec zone. This is Hoganson going back after it. Michel Dion came out, slapped it right though to Mikhailov. Mikhailov is knocked against the boards. Petrov coming in front, and Hoganson blocks that. Harlamov shot, and that's stopped by Michel Dion. Harlamov in the corner trying to get it in front. Petrov is swung around, and the Quebec Nordiques shoot it out to center. Going after it here is Michel Goulet, and back to check him is Babinov. Babinov then is knocked against the boards by Leduc, number 10. Puck's at center. Leduc has it for Quebec. Coming in with Goulet. Shot it wide. Tretiak slapped it off the boards, and it's cleared up to Harlamov. Harlamov, a pass on the right side to Mikhailov. Going in with Petrov. Petrov shot, he scores! Petrov, and it's 1-0 for the Soviets.
Pretty three-way passing play by this line that's played together as a line since 1968. And it's Petrov, who's been a disappointment in this series so far, who ends up finishing off his rink-length dash by the Soviets with a wicked shot on the drop pass. Very similar to the goal I can recall it being scored last year in the Challenge Cup final game. At that drop pass right at the opposition blue line, and the Soviets have a 1-0 lead on Petrov's goal. Big shot.
Now the time of the goal, 9:55. Now Quebec come right back. The pass comes to Cloutier in front. There's a shot, they score! Fitchner. And it's tied up. Fitchner comes right back.
Just 14 seconds after the Soviets take the lead, a big score for the Nordiques. Number 9, Real Cloutier. He comes in all alone as the Soviets get tangled up a bit in front of Tretiak. That's quite a move Cloutier makes, Bertie. He goes almost by Tretiak and then throws it upstairs. Oh, it's Fitchner. I'm sorry, Fitchner, not Cloutier.
1-1 tie. And Cloutier gets an assist. Now the Soviets come back. This is Kortsev up over the line. Bumps with Jerry Hart. The puck is underneath Hart. He's trying to get a whistle, and he succeeds. Jerry Hart, a native of Flin Flon, Manitoba. He was 32 on January 1st.
Went straight it was Fitchner on the setup from Cloutier right here. He was so good, I thought it was Cloutier. He put the puck in the net. He's on a goal scorer. Look at this move. Super move up over the outstretched leg of Tretiak. So very quickly, the Nordiques tie it up 1-1.
Now back to the action here. The puck is shot back into the Quebec corner. This is Barry Lake bumped against the boards. Varnikoff tries to get the puck loose, and it's Jamie Hislop slapping it around the boards, deflected there by Reg Thomas. He couldn't get it out, and he was tied up along the boards. And we'll get another whistle, the face-off in the Quebec zone with 9:19 left in the first period, and 2 quick goals, and it's tied at 1. This is Kovin, number 25, at center now for the Soviets, as Varnikoff and Skvortsev out there. This is the line from the Soviet wings. Central Red Army picked up an entire forward unit from the Soviet wings. The wings in 4th place in the Soviet Major League. Kovin, number 25, tried to get it over to Skvortsev, and FTOREK shoots it down the ice. Back for it, number 14, Starikov. Starikov brings it out for the Red Army. A pass up on that right side to Skvortsev, over to Varnikoff. Varnikoff drops it back. Skvortsev couldn't get a shot. It's into the corner. Now number 25, Barry Lake. Lake for Quebec, cleared it out to center ice, but FTOREK goes after it there. The Soviet player had trouble with it. Skvortsev took a swing at the puck but missed. Now it's back into the Soviet zone. Number 14 is Starikov. Starikov on the right side to Alexander Skvortsev. Over to Kovin. Kovin is knocked against the boards by Dale Hoganson. Hoganson goes after the puck. Chased there by Varnikoff. Still has it. Then he overskates it. Skvortsev goes into the corner after the puck, and he was stopped. Hoganson put it right onto the stick of Babinov. Babinov, number 4, drops it back to the line. And having trouble there was Petrov. And Petrov will get a penalty as he hauled down the Quebec player Thomas. Live from Quebec City, this is Super Series 80 on CTV.
Petrov, who opened the scoring with his first goal of the series in this first period, now draws his 3rd penalty of the series. And here we see it right here. He's called on the play, so it's Petrov for hooking at 11:47. First Quebec power play. Bernie, since that big flurry of shots when the Soviets had a 2-man advantage, they had a 9-1 edge. The shots have been even ever since then at 4 apiece.
Well, Michel Dion, Dick, no question, held Quebec in the game in the early going. And it's 1-1 here with 8 minutes remaining in the opening period. Nordiques on the power play. They're stopped, though. Fedosov gets it to Harlamov. Harlamov shot, and Michel Dion stopped that. This is Hoganson behind his own net to Robbie FTOREK. Off the boards. Tardif is spun around. FTOREK carries on. FTOREK coming up with Kluche. Kluche puts on the brakes, moves in front. Harlamov stopped him. Tardif goes after the puck to FTOREK. FTOREK knocked against the boards by Fedosov. They pin the puck there momentarily. It's knocked loose by Kluche. Kluche backhands it into the corner. Fedosov had it momentarily. Now FTOREK tries to get it. FTOREK is hooked, gets it back to the line to Bernier, a shot. And Tretiak juggled that, and he got his glove on it and just deflected it wide. Now back into the Quebec zone. This is Mikhailov. Mikhailov knocked into the boards by Hoganson. Still has the puck. Dropped it to the line, and it came out. And it shot right back into the Soviet zone and then out to center ice. 45 seconds left in Petrov's penalty. This is Bernier. Up to the Soviet line. He's knocked off stride. Gets the puck again. Slaps it over to Goulet. He had trouble with it. And the Central Red Army shoot it down the ice. The only scoring plays in the game. Petrov scoring for the Soviets. And Fitchner has scored for Quebec. 6.5 minutes remaining in the opening period. 20 seconds left in the penalty as Balderis shoots it down the ice. Now it goes to Dion. Dion, the goalie, left it there for Bernier. This should be about the last rush on this Quebec power play. Bernier almost got that lead pass to Blair Stewart. A shot from the side hit the net, and now it goes around to the other side as the Soviets are back at full strength. Petrov is on the ice. Leduc in the corner. Drops it back to the line. Baxter's shot is blocked. Balderis then knocks him down. There'll be a penalty to Balderis for hooking.
And it comes just a few seconds after the Soviets Soviets returned to full strength with Petrov coming out of the penalty box. Soviets defended very aggressively against the Nordiques power play, which is a good power play. This play forms up just inside the blue line on the shot by Baxter that was blocked. And then Balderis gets up off the ice and hauls down Baxter along the board. So, whereas the Soviets had a power play advantage with 2 Nordiques in the box in the early going, the Nordiques now get power plays back-to-back.
Time of the penalty, 14 minutes. Balderis in there. So Fitchner, who scored the lone Quebec goal, will take the face-off against Kovin. And it's to the left of Tretiak. Comes back to Fedosov. He couldn't get it out. Fitchner knocks it. Then it got out to center ice to Kovin. Kovin, number 25. He's hooked by Mark Tardif. Then knocked down inside the Quebec line. Trying to get a face-off there. The puck rolls to Robbie FTOREK. Up on the right side now. This is Baxter. Baxter just shoots it over the Soviet line, right to the Soviet player, and it's shot down the ice by Starikov. Robbie FTOREK. A minute and a half remaining in the penalty to Balderis. Tardif winding up for Quebec. Tardif gets by Varnikov, takes it up on the left side to Fitchner. Fitchner is bumped against the boards by Starikov. Fedosov now pins the Quebec player there, and we get a whistle. With the score 1-1, Super Series 80 pauses for a moment.
The opposing coach is Demers and Tikhonov, and the Soviet coach again has that stopwatch in his hand.
Yeah, he's a busy man with that, timing each shift out there. Here's Quebec in front, a shot that's knocked down. Into the corner goes Babinov, slaps it behind the net. Fedosov cleared it, goes right to Mikhailov. Mikhailov had trouble with it. Bernier keeps it in and got too far away from Thomas. He couldn't catch up to it. It's cleared down the ice into the Quebec zone with 49 seconds remaining in the penalty to Balderis. Around the boards, it's stopped by Petrov. Back to Babinov. Soviets a man short. Babinov keeping it into the Quebec zone. Mikhailov tries to get it, and it's taken there by Thomas. Thomas to Bernier. Bernier straight up the middle, number 21. Passes it on the left side to Hislop. Hislop backhands it in front. And the Soviets, Fedosov, fires it down the ice with 21 seconds left in the penalty to Balderis. A 1-1 tie. 4:15 remaining in the opening period. Bernier straight up the middle. He's going in with Thomas, who takes the pass, but he's shot about 2 feet wide. Hoganson trying to keep it in. Goes right to the Soviet player Makarov. Makarov winding up at center. Makarov fakes a shot, takes it up into the Quebec zone. The Soviets' Balderis is back on the ice, and they have succeeded in killing off that penalty. 3:51 remaining in the opening period. Kazadanov trying to split through the defense. Kazadanov backhands it in front. Makarov couldn't get a shot. This is Balderis in the corner. Hoganson checked him. Makarov rolls it to Zlukov. He fanned on his shot, and Hislop has it for Quebec, clears it to center. Luchenko backhands it to Balderis. Here's HELMUT Balderis, back to Luchenko. Into his own zone to Volchenkov, and he tried to get that pass on the right side to HELMUT Balderis, but that failed. Now Baxter for Quebec at center. Backhands it into the Soviet zone. Leduc going in with Luchenko. They get tied up. The puck rolls the other way. Now Leduc has it. Watched by Luchenko. Rolls it right in front. Comes back now to Barry Legg, a shot. And that's taken by Varnikov. Varnikov can't get out. Goulet knocked it away from him. Leduc from the side. Now Goulet slaps away at it. And they hold it there as Brackenbury collides with Tretiak. From the Coliseum, the Central Red Army and the Quebec Nordiques, Game 5 of Super Series 80.
What do the NHL players think about these international series? A cross-section of opinion from around the league. We'll talk with Mark Tardif of the Nordiques and the young coach of this well-disciplined new NHL club. Dick and Bernie will have highlights of this first period as well.
2 minutes and 53 seconds left to be played at the opening period, a 1-1 tie. Puck comes back to Jerry Hart. His shot bounced off Sportsev, goes into the corner. Cleared around the boards by Starikov, but Kluche keeps it in there to Tardif. Tardif pass right to Varnikov, up on the right side. This is Fortsev going in with Varnikov, and it's called on the offside, and that was a dangerous play.
Krejcik was upset here a moment ago. The whistle went, if you recall, with a big pileup right at the goalpost, but just before that he had been after the referee. Here's Michel DION. What a big man he was for the Quebec team in the early going, especially when the Soviets had that two-man advantage.
Has a very unique goalie's mask too, Dick. He says that just protects his neck a little more. Some use the flap, but he enjoys the point on that mask. And as you say, he's certainly been playing well this season for Quebec. Tardif is bumped. The puck comes out to center. Cleared over to number 14, Starikov. Starikov was stopped there by Bob Fitchner. Puck rolls into the Soviet zone. Having trouble there is Volchenkov, but Starikov, number 14, tried to get it ahead to Kovin. Jerry Hart stopped that. It goes into the Quebec zone. Then it's backhanded out to center ice. Here comes Tardif on the left wing. Tardif gets a shot, and that whistles wide, but not by much. Varnikov gets it to Kovin. 2 minutes left in the opening period. Kovin's shot deflected in behind the net. Hart goes after it. Left the puck there for Fitchner. Fitchner coming out, up to his own line. Let the puck go ahead now to Stewart. Stewart on the right wing side, knocked off stride by Fedosov. Blair Stewart gets in there along with Kluche, Kovin, and they hold it to get a whistle.
For 28, Blair Stewart, a veteran forward in the National Hockey League. He's played in Detroit, Washington, now here in Quebec. Got here right at the start, had a bit of a contract problem with the team. Played in 16 games and scored 6 goals.
Petrov from Mikhailov and Harlamov at 9:55. Fitchner scoring from Kluche and Lacroix, the goal scorers in the game up to this point. A little bit of a mix-up there, Fedosov and Blunt.
Well, that started from the jam in the corner a few moments before. There is Sergei Babinov, number 4, did not play in this series until the game in Buffalo. Had a knee injury, suffered in the Izvestia tournament in a game between the Soviets and Canada.
Well, this is the big line out there for the Soviets. Supposedly their big line, but Dick, as you mentioned, they have really been held off the scoreboard in this series, but they have the 1 goal so far for the Soviets in this game, and Petrov got that. Bernier's backhander knocked down by Babinov. Babinov with 1:25 left in the first period. Cleared it out to center. Here's a race for it. Mikhailov going after it, and he was spun around by Wally Weir and couldn't get good possession of the puck. It's cleared to Hoganson, then back to Weir. Weir up on the right side, couldn't catch Plant with that pass, and Fedosov clears it off the boards, lost it. Here's a chance for Bernier, and that whistle just wide. Tretiak slaps it into the corner. Here Plant trying to get it. We're into the final minute of the opening period. The puck is stopped there by Thomas. Rolled it in front for Pierre Plant, and the Soviets shoot it down the ice again. This is Weir going in with Mikhailov. Weir gets there. Mikhailov and Harlamov gets it loose. Tried to get it in front to Petrov. That shot deflected off a stick and goes up over the glass and out of play.
Soviets with 14 shots so far in this first period. And, of course, we saw them outshot. I think it was 13-3 in Montreal in the first period. They have been forechecking very aggressively. And they forced the Nordiques into some mistakes in their own zone. Happened in that last power play for Quebec. They had trouble getting going.
Lukchov got the face-off, but FTOREK brings it out now for Quebec. FTOREK to Hislop. Hislop, number 11, into the corner. Luchenko rides him into the boards. Puck's tied at the side. FTOREK tried to get it loose. FTOREK chases it. Knocks it down in the corner in front. Here's a chance for Thomas. Back to FTOREK. 15 seconds left. FTOREK off the boards there to Thomas. Sends it in behind the net. Hislop is checked by Luchenko. Then Kazadanov ran into FTOREK. FTOREK has the puck. 3 seconds left. Sluptov checking him. It hits a skate. Comes right in front. And the siren goes to end. Highly entertaining first period of play at the Coliseum in Quebec City. Shots on goal, the Soviets 14, Quebec 8. Live from Quebec City, this is Super Series 80. His 6th year in Quebec. Of course, he played 4 years in the NHL previously with the Montreal Canadiens. This is Jerry Hart back into his own zone. Checked by Harlamov. Then Harlamov collides with Hart. Puck rolls to the line, gets outside the blue line, and the Soviets forced to get back onside. Fedosov cleared it ahead to Mikhailov to Petrov. Petrov in the corner, fired that right through the crease. Here's Harlamov, drops it back to Fedosov, knocked down in front, scrambled for it, and DION made the save. Lacroix tries to get it loose. It comes out to Tardif. Tardif up on the right side to Cloutier, rolled off his stick, and Fedosov inside his own line. Long shot down into the Quebec zone. Just got away from Harlamov as he slipped and fell. And Fitchner brings it right back for Quebec. Fitchner, a pass on the right side to Lacroix. Lacroix is stopped, and Harlamov is spun around, goes after the puck though, and shoots it off the boards all the way down the ice into the Quebec zone. Back there is Wally WEIR, and it's icing against the Soviet Red Army.
And a good job by WEIR that time as Mikhailov was after him. Number 2, Wally WEIR, his 4th season here with the Nordiques. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast the interesting game in Buffalo where the Sabres are trying to snap Philadelphia's 34-game unbeaten streak. Second period's over, and it's tied 2-2. A couple of Canadian-based NHL teams are in action tonight. The Winnipeg Jets are hosting the LA Kings. Bernie, your Vancouver Canucks are in Chicago, scoreless near the end of the first period.
That'll be a real big game for them as they continue to battle for top spot in the Smythe division. Puck is in the Soviet zone. We've played 1 minute and 10 seconds in the second period, a 1-1 tie. Luchenko gets it right in front, rolls off Makarov's stick. That shot then goes wide of Soviet netminder Tretiak. Into the corner, Stewart. Stewart trying to get it in front. Makarov checked him, and this is Viktor's Luktov. Big 6'2" center off the boards, gets it to center ice. Hoganson backhands it there. It goes to Bernier. Bernier dropped it back to Hoganson. Hoganson over to Bernier. Bernier up to the Soviet line, off to Stewart, and his shot just goes wide and comes all the way back into the Quebec zone with Hoganson and Balderis going in after it. And Balderis certainly has a great deal of speed. Almost beat Hoganson that time. That shot goes wide. It goes over to the far side. Pierre Plante then goes behind his own net. Backhands it to Thomas. Thomas at center to Bernier. Bernier coming up for Quebec. Off the boards to Thomas. Thomas shot. That just missed by inches as he let a low drive go. Now the Soviets come right back. This is Kovin. Kovin takes it into the corner. Has Makarov in front. Makarov then goes into the corner after the puck. Makarov spun around there by Paul Baxter. Still has it. Makarov trying to come in front. Still ragging the puck. Now passes it. There's a shot. And DION got a piece of that as Kortsev let it go. Now it's in behind the net, right in front. And Thomas has it for Quebec. And backhands it to an open wing. Starikov tried to bring it in. He was stopped. And the pass almost got over to Kortsev. But he in turn was stopped by Bernier. Now Kovin rolls it in front. And that drive by Kortsev hit a skate and went wide. Into the corner goes Kortsev. Kortsev drops it to Kovin. Has Barnikov in front, but he's checked. And Bernier has it for Quebec. Up on the left side. Thomas goes after it. Tied up by Volchenkov. Live from Quebec City, this is Super Series 80 on CTV. It's a 1-1 tie here in Quebec City. Petrov has scored the goal for the Soviets, and Fitchner scoring for Quebec. FTOREK is at center, number 7, the Québec Nordiques captain. Puck goes behind the Soviet net. Babinov trying to get it out. Now here's Fedosov. Fedosov, number 2. Fedosov clears it off the boards, trying to get it to Harlamov. Babinov helps out. He's stopped there. It's rolled in front to FTOREK, a backhander. And it just got away from the Quebec player Thomas. Here's Petrov over to Harlamov. Hit him in the skates. He would have been offside. He waited for the puck to roll. Now here comes FTOREK. FTOREK up on the right side. Going over the line is Thomas. A shot, he scores! And it's 2-1 for Quebec.
Nordiques take a 2-1 lead on a goal by number 22, Richie Thomas, recently acquired from the Toronto Maple Leafs. the left side, committed himself, and allowed the play to form up down the right wing. There you see it. And he's got all kinds of room with only Babinoff back. Faked the pass and caught Tretiak on the short side, Bernie. Tretiak leaned a bit as Thomas looked as though he might pass the puck to his left. Instead of that, he let it go. And the Nordiques, who were bottled up to him fairly well here for quite a while in the early going the second period, have scored and lead 2-1.
And the time of the goal, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Here goes Balderis. Balderis into the Quebec corner. Number 19 stopped, knocked down. There will be a penalty as Balderis was stopped and flattened by Hoganson. Live from Quebec City, Super Series 80 on CTV.
Soviets get a power play chance here as Dale Hoganson's off for tripping at 3:59.
And the puck right from the face-off, cleared outside the line. Now going back after it is Wally Weir. Weir slaps it off the glass. Luchenko trying to keep it in, but it came right to center ice. Slukta drops it back to Kazadanov. Kazadanov, number 21, leads it ahead to Balderis. He can really move. Balderis on the far side to Makarov. Makarov rolls it in front. Balderis couldn't get a shot. Kazadanov back to Balderis. Back to Makarov. Over to Balderis. Balderis shot. He scores! Balderis. A power play goal, and it's tied at 2-2.
You know, Makarov and Balderis, we're looking at the two top point getters in Soviet hockey. Balderis is second in behind his 21-year-old teammate. As they threw that puck around, it was just beautiful to watch them out there with the man advantage. He used defenseman Weir as a perfect screen on the play. DION, I don't think, saw the shot when it first left Balderis' stick, and he had no chance. Look at that. Weir is down. Good view of it right there. Good camera angle. Almost a goaltender's view in reverse, but it just shows you that Balderis had that path to the net to that corner. He found it very quickly. The Soviets have tied it. It's 2-2.
At the time of the goal, 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Balderis from Makarov and Kazadanov. The Quebec goal prior to that was Thomas from FTOREK and Hart at 3:45. That was the 2-1 goal. Then Balderis tying it up there with that power play.
Bernie, he's the top point getter for the Soviets in this series now. That's his 6th point and 4th goal in 5 games. He's the outstanding Soviet player in Buffalo Thursday.
Now the Soviets bring it right back. This is Varnikov trying to get it to Kovin. It's knocked away by Kluche, but then Varnikov got it to the blue line. Number 4, Baxter was knocked off stride. Here's Kluche going in on goal. A shot and a whistle on the play. Kluche broke in on the right side, an offside pass.
Boy, this crowd just waiting to see Kluche take off. I've been very impressed tonight with Makarov, number 15 for the Soviets. He had a great scoring chance in the first period, and there is Balderis. They call him, or I guess we call him, the Soviet Guy Lafleur. He can fly in a similar fashion.
On the face-off, the puck is shot back into the Quebec zone. This is Barry Legg. Legg gets it around to Mark Tardif. Tardif then sent it the other side to Paul Baxter. He stopped Petrov in the corner. Petrov rolls it in front, and that pass just failed to get to Harlamov. Kluche goes after the puck. Kluche, it's a 2-2 tie. 14 minutes and 30 seconds remain in the second period. At the line, Tardif got it out to center. Petrov brings it right back in, drops it to Harlamov. Harlamov rolls it towards the goal. DION stopped it. Petrov bumped against the boards by Baxter. Harlamov spun around by Fitchner. Kluche goes after it. It comes back. Here's Babinov. His shot, and that just goes wide. Fetisov's drive deflected up over the top of the net, and it comes right out to center, back into the Soviet zone. Babinov, watched by Kluche. Off the boards, Fetisov can't get it. Here's Leduc. Leduc with Kluche, a shot. Tretiak stopped that. Jerry Hart moves up for Quebec. Hart, number 6, getting set a shot, and Tretiak loves that. From the Coliseum, the Soviet Central Red Army in Quebec in Game 5, Super Series 80.
6:09 gone in the second period. Score tied 2-2. Richard Leduc right here as we take a look at pretty good chance the Nordiques had. They had a couple of them in that last sequence. That one was stopped by Tretiak. The following shot came in from the point. He made the glove grab to bring about the faceoff.
Jerry Hart, 13:51 remaining. Here's a chance now. Comes back to the line. Deflected right to Tretiak, or maybe it was just a direct shot. He moved out and grabbed that. Quebec Nordiques, 10th overall in the NHL. The Soviet Red Army, led by goaltender Tretiak, are first in the Soviet Major Hockey League. Now this is Luchenko trying to get it out. He's stopped there by Stewart. Stewart gets it to Bernier. Bernier backhands it, and that's broken up and brought out by Zluktov. Zluktov sends it over to Makarov. Makarov drops it there. Here's Balderis' shot, and Jerry Hart blocks that and knocks Balderis to the ice. Hart has it for Quebec. Off the glass, dumps it back out to the center ice area. Here's Blair Stewart over to Bernier. He couldn't catch up to it as Zluktov checks him. Stewart in the corner, shot from the side. Tretiak forced to make the save. Here comes Balderis, up with Makarov, drops it to Makarov, getting set a shot, and that missed the target. Kept in at the line by Kazadanov. Into Makarov. Makarov in front to Balderis. He scores! What a great setup and an easy goal for Balderis.
Well, there they are again, and Balderis, nobody watching him. He just stood there. He watched that whole play on the far side of the ice from where he was standing. And when the puck came through to him, he just whipped it up high, and DION had no chance. So 2 straight goals by Balderis, and the Soviets take the lead. There you see number 15, Makarov, on that backhand pass. Got by everybody. The entire Nordique defensive unit was over on that other side of the rink. Balderis all alone, and he made no mistake. It comes at the 7-minute mark. 3-2 now. The Soviets are back on top of the Nordiques.
And Varnikov right from the draw shoots it into the corner. This is Alexander Skvortsev. Gets it back to Varnikov. Trying to get it back to Volchenkov, and that was intercepted. Kovin off the boards to Skvortsev. Hoganson checks him. Varnikov into the corner after. Varnikov rolls it. They score! Skvortsev. Hart right in front makes it 4-2.
That's their 5th shot of the period, and they have scored on 3 of them. The Soviets are getting a lot of opportunity right here to freewheel. The Nordiques are unable to keep them bottled up in their own end of the rink the way they were in Montreal and Buffalo, and when you allow them to skate the way they've been able to here in this second period, you are burned more often than enough. This line of the Soviet Wings team has played very well here tonight, and they have now come up with 3 straight goals, the Soviets have, and it's 4-2.
Puck is cleared down the ice. Babinov, number 4, going back forward for the Soviets. Watched by Robbie FTOREK. Babinov cleared it out. Baxter has it for Quebec, shoots it in, a delayed offside, but the Soviets get it out, so it's waved off. Now that pass intended for Harlamov was broken up. FTOREK checks Babinov. Goes in behind the Quebec goal. Paul Baxter. Straight up the middle. He's hooked and knocked off stride. There'll be a Soviet penalty as Baxter was knocked to the ice. Live from Quebec City, this is Super Series 80 on CTV.
Petrov of the Soviet Army team in the penalty box. They've called it tripping at 8:01. And here we see it right here as he hauls down the Quebec player. Those 3 Soviet goals very quickly at 4:35, and then 2 and 23 seconds at 7 minutes and 7:23, and they moved ahead 4-2.
11 minutes and 55 seconds remain to be played in the second period. Quebec trailing by 2 on the power play. This is FTOREK. Straight up the middle, the Nordiques captain, number 7, fires it on the right side. Thomas couldn't catch up to it. Fetisov has it, pins it against the boards, and then it's backhanded down the ice. This is FTOREK. Watched by Mikhailov. Backhands it over to Hoganson. Harlamov right in on top of Hoganson. Puck goes around to the other side, and FTOREK off the boards. Brought out by Kluche. Up to Tardif. Tardif, number 8, bumped by Harlamov, shot it in. This is Fetisov. He's checked against the boards, and they hold it there and get another whistle. Reminder, the telecast of Super Series 80 is presented solely for the interest of our viewers under copyright of Harcum Consultants Limited. Any use of this telecast without express written consent is strictly prohibited.
Nordiques have a pretty good power play. You get Tardif up front along with Bernier and Kluche, put Robbie FTOREK back at the point, but so far this evening they have not been able to get to engineering anything too dangerous around the Soviet net.
Petrov has a minute 15 seconds left in his penalty. This is FTOREK at the line, clears it into Tardif. Tardif rolls it in front, and Cloutier couldn't get a shot as the puck just bounced over his stick. Now it's Balderis coming back in with Zlutov. Balderis, look at the moves he makes. Got it to Zlutov, and they shoot it right back into their own zone. Luchenko behind the net to Kazanov. He was stopped. Now Quebec get it back. This is FTOREK. Took the pass from Bernier. Fires it into the corner. Cloutier goes after it. Cloutier to Tardif. Tardif bumped against the boards by Kazanov. Now Cloutier goes in after it. Cloutier for Quebec. Back to FTOREK. His shot. That goes wide. Helmut Balderis off the boards and down the ice with 30 seconds remaining in the penalty to Petrov. 4-2 for the Soviets. Now here comes FTOREK. FTOREK up with Hislop and Fitchner. Fitchner goes in. Kazanov bumped with the Quebec player. Comes to FTOREK. FTOREK fakes a shot. Gets set. Rolls it in front. And Balderis breaks that up. Trying to get it to Kovin. It would have been a breakaway, but he failed. Here's Cloutier. A shot. Tretiak stops that. Now Balderis has it for the Soviets as Petrov is back on the ice and the Central Red Army at full strength. Kazanov stole the puck away from Buddy Cloutier. Goes to Balderis. He's stopped by Fitchner. Into the corner. Fitchner backhands it. And Balderis is there to intercept for the Soviets, but he couldn't get it out. Fitchner then gets the puck to Cloutier. Cloutier is stopped by Luchenko. It comes in front. And the Soviets finally clear it down the ice. That is Kovin. 9.5 minutes remaining in the second period. It's 4-2 for the Soviets. Now brought in by Lacroix. Trying to get it in front, and it was knocked off his stick. Sportsev just let it go. Hart for Quebec. Pass intended for Leduc. Intercepted by Kovin. And then Hart slapped it down the ice into the Soviet zone. And this is Sergei Starikov. Starikov to Sportsev. Sportsev dropped it back into his own zone. It comes to Varnikov. Varnikov, a delayed penalty coming up to Quebec. Here's Sportsev. Tretiak's out of the net on the delayed call. And as it's touched by Goulet, the penalty is called by referee Brian Lewis.
Number 10, Richard Leduc, draws the penalty as he knocked the Soviet player down in front of Tretiak. So the Soviets, who have come up with those 3 straight goals, now get the power play chance.
So the face-off will be in the Quebec zone to the left of goaltender Michel DION, cross-checking to Leduc at 11:09.
Tikhonov's going to do for stopwatch is what Terezov did for note-taking, coaching his hockey team.
True. Here's Babinov, number 4, off the boards to Harlamov, back to Fedosov, rolls it into Petrov. Boy, they move the puck with authority. Here's Harlamov. Harlamov, number 17, watched by Stewart, gets it right in front, Fedosov, but he fanned on his shot. Now he tries to get it in front. Harlamov slapped away at it. It's cleared but not out. Petrov's shot deflected over the top of the net. Mikhailov trying to get it loose there. It's pinned in the meshing, and they hold it there, Baxter and Mikhailov.
Well, the Soviets have not had a shot on goal since the last goal they scored. But by the same token, the Nordiques in that last penalty to Petrov managed just 1. And that was a very weak one by Cloutier right near the end of their power play.
And so you just can't let up with this team, Dick, as they showed when they got those quick goals.
No, they had the skating room, Bernie, and they took advantage of it.
Now it's Harlamov trying to get it back. FTOREK intercepted it there. FTOREK on that right side to Pierre Plante. Backhands it into the Soviet zone. 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the penalty. Now it's cleared to Babinov. Babinov up on the right side to Petrov. Petrov to the Quebec line. Banned on his pass, and it's shot back down the ice. And it's right to goaltender Tretiak. 4-2 for the Soviet Central Red Army. They're on the power play now. Fedosov gets it up to Mikhailov, to Harlamov. Harlamov drops it back. Fedosov back to Harlamov. His shot stopped, the rebound. And it's cleared into the corner as Michel DION made a big save there. Soviets still have possession. This is Babinov. Gets it over to Mikhailov. Mikhailov rolls it, hit the side of the net. And Pierre Plante slaps it down the ice. 38 seconds left in the penalty to Leduc. 7 minutes and 28 seconds left The puck is stolen. There's a shot. Tretiak grabbed that, and what an opportunity for Jamie Hislop.
Well, Fedosov just handed him the puck right in front of the net. Tretiak very alertly making the stop. 31 seconds left on this Soviet power play. The first goal Balderis scored in this period, the one tying the game 2-2, came on a power play. Their first power play goal of the series, their 16th power play opportunity. Here we see young Fedosov intercepted it in close, but Tretiak makes the stop.
25 seconds left in the penalty. Now here comes Makarov ahead to Balderis. Balderis going in right in front. He couldn't get a shot as Jerry Hart knocked him off stride. Hart in the corner for Quebec. Now 12 seconds left in the penalty. This is Balderis in the corner. Back to Makarov. Makarov, number 15, setting up. Drops it back to Kazadanov. A shot, and DION stops that, and Hart has it for Quebec. As the Duke is back on the ice, Nordiques are at full strength. This is Thomas going in, and he was knocked off stride by Kazadanov. Makarov on the right side brings it back for the Soviets. Makarov, number 15, looking for Balderis. Drops it back, and it came outside the line. 6.5 minutes remaining in the second period. It's 4-2 for the Soviets. Here's Balderis going in, a shot, and that was deflected by defenseman Hart. Hislop tries to get it out. It stopped at the line there by Starikov, and then his shot in turn was blocked by Jamie Hislop. Not in by Colvin on the offside. With the score, the Soviets 4, Quebec 2. Super Series 80 pauses for a moment.
Nordiques in a bit of a downer right here, Bernie. They're not checking well at all. I noticed Hislop was very tired. Obviously was going to need help. Went to the bench. Nobody jumped on. They played a few seconds a man short. They're just not with it right here.
A little depressing the way the Soviets jumped in the lead, and they have the puck now back in the Quebec zone. As Quebec appeared to be right back into the game, but the Soviets with those quick goals leading 4-2. Now it's Sportsev in the corner. He was stopped by Leg, and the puck goes around to Fitchner. Fitchner dropped it back to Paul Baxter. Baxter bringing it up for the Nordiques. Passed it right on the left side to Alexander Sportsev. Now Leg gets it to Kluche. He's bumped by Varnikov, who brings it back now for the Soviets. Varnikov got to the Quebec line, and it was called on the delayed offside. Give us a chance to check the scoring in the game. Petrov made it 1-0 for the Soviets. Fitchner tied it. Then Thomas gave Quebec a 2-1 lead, but Balderis came back with 2 goals to tie it, and then the go-ahead goal, and then Sportsev from Colvin, and that's how it stands now, 4-2. Petrov against Serge Bernier for the face-off. It's cleared to an open wing. This is Babinov. Babinov, number 4. Into Fedosov. Fedosov, who is sporting a really nasty cut on his left eye as a result of an injury picked up in the game against Montreal.
The Soviet Army team arrived for this series with 14 men on the roster from the Challenge Cup team, which played against the NHL All-Stars last February. It's a so-called Soviet club team, and they were allowed to add 3 players from one of the other Soviet teams, and they picked this line. And the line from the wings has played very well. There we have our Soviet counterpart, I believe.
That's Evgeny Maidorov, and what a great player he was back in the 60s. And he's broadcasting the game back to the Soviet Union. There's a shot. Cleared into the corner. Valery Harlamov. Harlamov to Petrov. Petrov at center. Coming up with Mikhailov. Rolls it in front. Mikhailov, a shot. And Michel DION got his white pad in the way of that try. Back come the Quebec Nordiques. Bernier shoots it into the corner. Babinov after him. Bernier slaps it back to Weir. Weir's shot deflected, and that goes wide. Chasing it there is Fedosov. He dumped it out to center. Mikhailov lost it to Weir. Here comes Weir. Back for Quebec. In with Tardif. Rolls it in front, and Babinov breaks that up. Bernier keeps it in. Bernier into the corner to Kluche. Kluche in front to Tardif, but it got away from him. And it's cleared right back to center. Harlamov trying to get by Weir. Weir's lost his stick. Going in with Petrov. And that puck hit the defenseman Hoganson and went wide. Bernier cleared it right to Fedosov. And Harlamov has it now for the Soviets with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second period. Weir at his own line to Hoganson. Watched by Zlukov. Hoganson at center ice. Got it on the right wing side for Brackenbury. He couldn't knock the puck down. And it's cleared out now to Lacroix. Pierre Lacroix back to Hart. At center to Leduc. They're calling it on the offside pass. Hart from Leduc. From the Coliseum, Central Red Army and Québec Nordiques, Super Series 80.
Second intermission, we'll be speaking with Nordiques captain and former WHA MVP Robbie FTOREK and the leader on defense for this Nordic team, Jerry Hart. Assistant coach Andre Boudria will be with us. We'll have highlights of the Edmonton Oilers Moscow Dynamo game 2 nights ago. And of course, Dick and Bernie will have highlights and analysis of this, the second period.
Okay, Ron, 3:57 left in the second period. It's 4-2 for the Soviets. This is Jerry Hart, number 6, bringing it out for Quebec. Over to Leduc. Leduc stepped aside Luketov, gives it to Goulet. Racing up to keep it in is Lacroix shot, and Tretiak covers up in front, and they start to mix it up a little. Brackenbury and Luketov.
While this is going on here at the Coliseum in Quebec City, the Flyers are flying again, apparently, with 4 minutes to go in Buffalo. Philadelphia has taken a 4-2 lead over the Sabres. They are that close to running that amazing unbeaten streak of theirs to 35.
Ready now, Colvin against Leduc for this face-off. To the left of goaltender Tretiak. Puck is dropped, it's back, and a shot deflected off a skate and goes wide. Sportset. He was knocked against the boards. The puck rolls loose. Leduc goes after it. A good job by Goulet, though. Determination paying off, but he lost it at the last moment as he tried to clear it in front. Now it's around to Volchenkov. Slapped out by Varnikov to center. Quebec over to Hart. Hart bumped against the boards by Sportsev. It's out at center ice. Goulet runs into the Soviet player, Volchenkov, and they hold it at center ice for a face-off.
Number 16, Michel Goulet, just 19 years of age, youngest player on the Nordiques. Played junior here in Quebec, scored 73 goals his final junior year, and then signed as an underage player by Birmingham, the Nordiques' #1 amateur draft pick. Ended up back in his hometown.
FTOREK wins the face-off that time, got it back to Legge. Legge stepped around Luketov, brings it in for Quebec. Over to Thomas. Thomas getting set for a shot. He was stopped. Hislop trying to backhand it in front. It's taken by the Soviet player Makarov. He's lost it to Hislop, and he couldn't get a shot away. Makarov kicking at the puck. It goes into the corner. Reg Thomas kicks it over to Hislop. Now Luketov slaps it in behind his own net. Legge moves up for Quebec. Goes to FTOREK, a shot. And that goes wide. This is Baxter. His drive is intercepted by Luchenko. Luchenko up on the right side to Makarov. Makarov failed in that pass to Luketov, and it rolls over to Baxter. At center for Thomas. Thomas coming in with FTOREK, a shot. And Tretiak blocked that and then covers up with Robbie FTOREK looking for a rebound.
And Tretiak looks over his shoulder at FTOREK, who can be a pesky kind of a guy. Played for Team USA in the Canada Cup back in '76. 2:14 left in the period, and the Nordiques came close. This was a pretty good shift for that line, Bernie. That was the best chance they had. FTOREK threading the needle on a screen, although perhaps Tretiak wasn't screened. He reacted to the shot, but it was just wide. They have to get one that would do them a lot of good if they could score between now and the end of this period.
Trailing by 2 with 2:13 remaining in the second period. WEIR scoops the puck high right in front, knocked down by Fedosov. Fedosov retrieved the puck, so there was no whistle. It's cleared out to Petrov. Petrov over to Harlamov, a shot, and that goes wide of goaltender Michel DION. Now here's a break for Bernier. Going in against Fedosov. Fedosov blocked it back to Bernier, and he tried to get it to Stewart, but the pass was away behind him. Bernier keeps it in to Stewart. Stewart moving in front, back to Bernier. He can't get a shot, and the Soviets break that up. Mikhailov inside his own blue line. Babinov, number 4, takes the pass. Babinov back to Fedosov. At center to Petrov. Veteran center sends it back in. Now it's Harlamov, number 17. Harlamov bringing it up to the Quebec line. Into the corner. Swings away from Wally WEIR. Drops it back. And it's intercepted by Hoganson. Hoganson up to Fitchner. On the right side, the pass for Pierre Plante. He stopped. and it's cleared to the line, and then just outside the line, a delayed offside, but it'll be brought out by the Soviets, so it's waved off. Petrov shoots it in into the final minute of the second period, and it's 4-2 for the Soviet Central Red Army.
The Nordiques have played a little better in the last few minutes. They have had some scoring chances. As Jacques Demers looks on from behind the bench with 56 seconds to go. I'm trying to keep track of some line matchups, and you just can't. Simply because, as Tom Watt pointed out on our broadcast Monday night, the Soviets don't go for it. Doesn't matter what combinations you throw out and how fast you change your lines. They just stick to their regular routine.
Unless Tikhonov's stopwatch packs up.
Right.
55 seconds left in the second period. Fitchner set to take the draw against Kovin, but Kovin is waved out. So now it'll be Varnikov. Thomas and Fitchner have scored the goals in the game for Quebec. Comes back to the line. Lacroix slaps it into the corner. This is Fitchner. He's pinned against the boards. Tardif goes in to get the puck. Lost his stick and smothered it as well.
There's Mark Tardif. You met him in the first intermission with Ron Rouge, and Ron will talk with Jerry Hart and Robbie FTOREK of the Nordiques when our second intermission begins.
Puck is slapped in front. Here's Tardif. He couldn't get a shot away. The puck rolls to Kluche. Kluche against the boards. 4-2 for the Soviets. It goes back in behind the net, taken there by Starikov. Up to his own blue line, then he lost it. And it's Jerry Hart with 30 seconds remaining in the second period. Hart inside his own line. Got the puck away from Sportset. Now it's a head pass to Tardif. Tardif coming up with Fitchner. Got to the Soviet line, but that was it. Sportset backhands it to center. But back in by Kluche. Kluche, number 9 to Tardif, a shot. And Tretiak handled that shot without any problem. In front, it's cleared. And the Soviets get it off the boards and down the ice. And that'll do it for the second period as the siren goes. And a close bit of action in front of Tretiak in the dying seconds of period number 2. So at the end of the second period, the Soviets 4, Quebec 2, live from Quebec City. This is Super Series 80. The referee, Brian Lewis. And the third period is underway. Harlamov drops it back to Babinov. Babinov fires it right into the Quebec zone. Harlamov moving up after it. And Kluche has the puck. Kluche gives it out to Fitchner. Fitchner scoops it down the ice. Going after it is Lacroix. Lacroix backhanding it in front. Tardif couldn't get a shot. There's a drive, and it's knocked down. Mikhailov has it and brings it back for the Soviets. Mikhailov, a pass to Harlamov. He's hauled down by Jerry Hart. Into the corner, Mikhailov rolls it in front. And it's brought back by Fitchner. Got to his own blue line, stopped there. And it's a delayed offside called at the Quebec blue line.
Something about the Soviets in the second periods of the games in this series. Going into tonight's game, they had not been scored upon in second period action. They had outscored the opposition 9-0. They have been very much outplayed in the third period, especially in the games at Montreal and Buffalo. Well, here in the second period tonight, they scored 3 of their 4 goals. The Nordiques got 1.
Puck is taken by FTOREK, slaps it off the boards. Here's Thomas going in on left wing, trying to get it in front. And Luchenko slid out and blocked that passing attempt. Hislop knocks it down in front. Cleared out to the Soviet lines. Zluktov to Kazadanov, over to Balderis, back to Zluktov. Zluktov had trouble with it. Makarov moved in, keeps it into the Quebec zone. This is Balderis. Backhands it to Makarov. Makarov moving in front. DION stopped that. And Zluktov goes after the loose puck. Back to Luchenko. Luchenko clears it off the boards, back into the Quebec corner. Balderis goes in after it. HELMUT Balderis, pumped by FTOREK and knocked down. Zluktov to Makarov, and FTOREK broke that up. It's slapped out on the right side. This is Jamie Hislop to FTOREK, a shot! And Tretiak got a piece of that and deflected it up over the glass.
Well, the Nordiques came out of their own zone in good fashion that time, and Robbie FTOREK, he didn't have that hesitancy about him on that break that we saw the Nordiques display earlier in the game when they had these 2-on-1s. And this time, FTOREK made up his mind, wound up and let it go, and Tretiak got a piece of it as he get way out of his crease on the play. And the puck deflected up into the crowd.
Now it's Kovin at center against Bernier. Soviet player Volchenkov went after it, but was knocked away from him. Here comes Kovin. Just missed the check there from leg. It goes into the Quebec zone. Back after it is Paul Baxter. Slipped and fell. It rolls in front. Kovin got a piece of it. Now the puck goes loose. Slapped around the boards to Pierre Plante. Plante. Bump. Get the puck out to Baxter, who just fires it to center ice. Now it's Bernier. Coming in with Stewart. Takes the pass. Couldn't get a shot as Varnikov checked him. Sportsev dropped it behind his own net. 4-2 for the Soviets. Puck at center. Leg slaps it off the boards. Then it goes back to the Quebec line. Stolen there. And Kovin almost broke in front. Here comes Stewart. Back for Quebec. Up with Bernier. Couldn't split through the defense as Sportsev slowed him down. Now it's to the Soviet line. Cleared right back in on the delayed offside. And live from Quebec City, this is Super Series 80 on CTV. At the Coliseum in Quebec City, this is Bernie Pascal along with Dick Irvin and Ron Rouge. The Soviet Red Army leading Québec Nordiques by a score of 4-2. And we have 17 and a half minutes remaining in the third period. That shot blocked by Tretiak as Leduc let it go. Comes around the boards. Harlamov kicked it over to Fetisov. Fetisov, rink-wide pass to Mikhailov. Rolls it in front. Fetisov was checked there by Kurt Brackenbury. Now it rolls to Jerry Hart. Hart to Brackenbury. It got away from him. Harlamov brings it back in. Going in with Mikhailov. A shot deflected off a skate and goes into the corner. Back to Babinov. Babinov shot, and MICHEL DION got a stick on that drive from Babinov, and it was deflected up over the glove.
Well, we can forget about the Soviets not using a slap shot. They have been firing a lot of them tonight at MICHEL DION. This latest one coming in from the blue line, Babinov, who had a lot of room. As the puck came back out, Mikhailov, the setup, and here it comes. Good stop by DION. Almost caught him going the wrong way, but he got his right leg on it. Well, the Flyers won again. They went into Buffalo and beat the Sabres 4-2, 35 straight games without a loss. Other finals in the NHL. Have them in a minute. Bernie?
Okay, Dick, it's to Babinov in front to Petrov, a shot. And that was deflected, hit the glass. Cloutier, number 9 for Quebec. Cloutier right in front of his own goal. Brings it up to his own blue line, then lost it to Petrov, but it's offside, and Dick will look at that scoreboard.
And the Rangers played a 5-5 tie. Detroit defeated Hartford 2-1. In Winnipeg, the Jets trail LA 3-2 in the second period, and in Chicago, the Blackhawks lead Vancouver 3-1 also in the second period.
There's Cloutier, 25 goals this season. Played junior hockey in Quebec. One season, 73-74. He scored 93 goals. Here's Hoganson for Quebec. Drops it back to Tardif. Tardif winding up. Takes it up to center ice. Then was stopped there by Makarov. And he's forced to go back into his own zone after the puck. Backhands it over to Wally Weir. Weir put it right onto the stick of Zlukov. And Hoganson behind his own net now for Quebec. As the Soviets hem the Quebec Nordiques in their own zone. Now it's Cloutier breaking up on the right side. Back to Fitchner. He couldn't get a shot as he was stopped. Hoganson at the side. Mark Tardif is knocked off stride by Luchenko. Chases the puck though in the corner. This is Tardif. Bumped against the boards by Zlukov. Puck goes to Cloutier. Cloutier sends it over to Weir. There's a delayed penalty coming up here to the Soviets. They hammer in front. Here's Makarov. And the penalty will go to Kazadanov. Live from Quebec City, this is Super Series 80.
Don't be shortchanged on your...
It goes wide, comes back to Bernier, but it bounced over his stick. The penalty to Kazadanov for holding at 4:15. Soviets lead 4-2. This is a glorious opportunity for Quebec to get back in the game. FTOREK. He was checked by Kovin. The puck goes to Bernier. Bernier, he was stopped, now forced to go back as Varnikov tied him up. It's backhanded in. Here's a chance for Lacroix moving in front. Bumped off the puck there by Starikov. Starikov, number 14, dumps it down the ice. Here's a break for Kovin, going in on goal. He scores, but it's whistled on the offside pass. No goal.
Got to be a two-line pass on that one. The Soviets have been sending two men in deep baffled here a while back. This pass from inside the Soviet zone. It's a 2-line. Gone as the rush was taking place, and as soon as Kovin picked up the puck. 1:18 left in the penalty to Kasatonov, who was caught for holding as there was a hassle in front of the net as the play was going on in the Nordique zone.
This is Thomas backhanding it to Hoganson. Back to Thomas. Thomas back to Hoganson. Slaps it into the corner to Leduc. Leduc knocked against the boards by Fetisov. Chases the puck. Gets it back to Robbie FTOREK. Into the corner. Fetisov breaks that up. Knocks down Leduc. Hislop has it for Quebec. Back to FTOREK. FTOREK to Hislop. In front, a shot. That's blocked by Fetisov. And in a shot. They score! Hislop scores for Quebec.
That makes it 4-3. Still 14:37 to play. And the crowd much happier. They were getting on the Nordiques in what's supposed to be a friendly exhibition match. Jamie Hislop showing good persistence here as his first shot is blocked and came back to him, and he let it go right away and fooled Tretiak. There's the defenseman going down the block the shot. Hislop picks it up and in one motion fires it right back at Tretiak. A back of the net look at it here will show it possibly a bit better. There's the block on the play by Fetisov, and Hislop battles his way to the puck and beats Tretiak. So the power play goal by number 11, Jamie Hislop, the native of Sarnia, and the Nordiques have moved to within one. It's 4-3 for the Soviets.
Hislop from FTOREK at 5:23. Now it's back to the live action. Luchenko had his pass intercepted by Goulet. Brackenbury runs into Zlutov. Puck is brought in by Goulet. Goulet drops it back to Jerry Hart. Here's Hart slapping it into the corner. Tretiak stopped that. Kasatonov bumped there by Leduc. Goulet trying to get the puck loose, and it's brought out by HELMUT BALDERIS. Here's BALDERIS up to Makarov. Makarov stops, has Zlutov out there as well. Makarov rolls it in front. Zlutov couldn't get a shot. Makarov in front of the net. The puck is knocked just away from Michel DION. And now it's the Québec Nordiques. Brackenbury on the left side. Brackenbury's shot bounced off Kasatonov and went wide. It's outside the line and to center ice. Soviet player Balderis was injured. He's getting up slowly inside the line. And he stayed on the ice long enough to get a whistle.
Boy, a convenient time for the injury to Balderis because the Nordiques were in control moving into the Soviet zone.
The last scoring play, Hislop from FTOREK and Leduc at 5:23. A power play goal, and there's Balderis being attended to. He's still on the ice. He has 2 goals in this game for the Soviets. Now the line from the Soviet wings out there for the Red Army: Kovin, Varnikov, and Skvortsov. Is over to Kluche. Kluche gives it to Barry Lake. Shoots it into the Soviet corner. After it there is Starikov. Tried to get it out. It's pinned against the boards. Kluche slapping away. Kovin, though, holds it with Mark Tarter.
We'll see what this latest turn of events can do for the Nordiques. It certainly has pepped up the fans and the organist. They were outplayed in the second period for the most part, but they hung tough. We're down by 2, and now they're down by just 1.
13 minutes and 25 seconds remain to be played in the third period. Face-off will be to Tretiak's left. Kovin against Fitchner. It comes back. Backhanded into the corner by Barry Lay. Now it comes around the boards to Kluche. Kluche in front. Fitchner ties it up. What a play.
We're going to have a delay here. They've started to throw things on the ice. Fitchner with his second goal of the game. And what a beautiful setup from Kluche. Just timed perfectly. And the Nordiques' big scoring line comes up with a second goal here in this third period for Quebec. And they have come from 4-2 down, and it's tied 4-4. A perfectly timed pass. Fitchner off to Tretiak's right at the goalpost. As the pass comes right across the ice from Kluche, number 9. He took a look, and look at Fitchner. He should have been taken out by the Soviets, but he wasn't. Comes right off the face-off as the line connects. The Soviets with the clearing pass along the boards, intercepted by Cloutier, right across the ice. Tretiak couldn't get there in time. 4-4 as Bob Pitchner scores his second of the game.
And the Soviet defenseman Starikov was really burned on that play by Pitchner. It's 4-4 with 13:10 remaining. Pitchner from Cloutier and leg at 6:43. Now the puck is at center ice, and it's over 2 lines on an offside pass. Dick, that has brought the crowd to life here in Quebec.
Bernie, it was interesting, as I mentioned, the crowd got on the Nordiques early in this period. They were being checked very closely, especially on that power play in the early stages. But now the crowd is clapping, and the organist is playing, and suddenly this is a happy place.
4-4 tie. The puck is stopped there by Stewart. Goes to Babinoff. Babinoff had trouble but brings it up. Harlamov, number 17 on the right side. Harlamov swinging away from Hart. Tried to jam it from that short side, but DION had it well covered. This is Stewart. Off the boards into the Soviet zone. Stewart's shot, and Tretiak blocked that. Comes around the board. Stopped there by Lacroix. Then Harlamov stole it from him. It's cleared out to Mikhailov, going in with Petrov. Tried to return the pass, but that was broken up. Here's Fetisov, right in front, a shot, and DION got a piece of that. They score! Petrov in front to Mikhailov, who was all alone.
You know, that's a tough break for the Nordiques. Barry Lake had a chance to clear the puck out of the Nordique zone and didn't quite click on it. And that gave them a chance to fire it back in. Right there, see, Lake had it on the stick, didn't get a piece of it. The first shot was stopped, but out in front of the net. There is Mikhailov, the veteran, and he throws it right upstairs. And very quickly, the Soviets have taken the lead again. There's the first save of Mikhailov, no doubt about it. Petrov to Mikhailov. There's a familiar combination, and there's the score. The Soviets back on top.
Mikhailov from Petrov and Fetisov at 7:36. And we have 12:15 remaining in the third period. Here comes Balderis, stopped at center. FTOREK left the puck there for Barry Lake, and he shoots it into the Soviet zone. The Soviets leading 5-4. Luchenko is hauled down in his own corner. The puck is underneath the players, and we get another whistle. From the Coliseum, the Central Red Army and Québec Nordiques, Super Series 80. Linesman Ron Asseltine set to drop the puck between Zluktov and Robbie FTOREK. It goes to Luchenko. Luchenko off the boards. Lacroix, number 26, over to Jerry Hart. Hart backhands it off the boards, intercepted there, brought in by the Soviet player Kazadanov. Slipped as he got a weak shot away. And it's Jerry Hart for Quebec. Here's Hart behind his own net. Almost lost it in front to Makarov, forced to go back. Balderis chases him from the other side. As Hart now is content just to hold it there and get a whistle, but he kicked it over to Robbie FTOREK. Up to Hislop. Backhands the puck out to center. It's stopped there for FTOREK. Hislop carries on. A pass on the left side. And trying to get in front. Here's FTOREK rolling it there. Hislop is tied up by Kazadanov. And the Soviets, Makarov, just clears it out to center. Intercepted by Makarov. Brought in. Makarov trying to get it to Balderis. And that's cleared out to center. Number 14, Starikov. Got it to Kazadanov. It's cleared in with 10:55 left in the third period.
As we've become accustomed to the Soviet names over the years, you had the great Anatoly Firsov. Then, of course, along came Harlamov in the series in 1972. But something tells me that as international hockey progresses over the next few years, Sergei Makarov is a name that we are going to be talking a lot about. Just 21 years of age, leading point getter in the Soviet League. And here tonight he's put on a great show.
And the shortest member of the Central Red Army at 5'7". Makarov has really been dazzling everyone in this series. This is Colvin almost breaking away. Leduc has it for Quebec. Gets it to Brackenbury. A shot juggled by Tretiak. Rolls it in front. Brackenbury ran into Colvin and knocked him to the ice. Up on the right side, this is Sportsev. Sportsev backhands it over to Varnikov, offside at the Quebec blue line.
Some of these Soviet players are going to take back more than the souvenirs that they buy tomorrow in Montreal with them when they return home. They're going to take a few bruises courtesy of Kurt Brackenbury. He has really been throwing his weight around. Now Alexander Sportsov, one of the members of the Soviet wings, joining the Red Army team for this particular series.
You mentioned Brackenbury, Dick, the native of Kapuskasing, Ontario. When they played the Soviets 2 years ago, he was the most valuable player in that game when Quebec defeated the Soviets 6-1. And he's certainly been running into every Soviet he sees tonight. Here's Varnikov stealing the puck, coming in. Varnikov in the corner. Still has it, rolls it in front, gets it back, a shot. DION stops at the rebound, and that hit a player in front and goes wide. Jerry Hart into the corner, tied up by Varnikov.
Close call right there, that line coming very near to giving the Soviets a 2-goal lead on the play. Don't know if that shot got through to the net or was stopped on the way by Hart or somebody piled up in front. But it was a good scoring chance. You see the traffic jam in front of DION. No, it didn't get through. Hit Jerry Hart and went into the corner.
Scoring in the third period, Hislop and Fitchner for Quebec. And Mikhailov, the go-ahead goal at 7:36. And it's 5-4 for the Soviets with 10 minutes remaining. Now here comes Jerry Hart. Hart, number 6, trying to backhand it, gets it on the second attempt. Fetisov back into his own zone, let the puck go to Babinov. Babinov just clears it off the boards. It goes all the way down the ice. And it'll be icing against the Soviets as they miss on that pass. Live from Quebec City, Super Series 80 on CTV. And we're back at the Coliseum in Quebec City. Two teams at full strength. The Soviets lead 5-4. This is Petrov, number 16, just scoops the puck down the ice. Hits the boards. Harlamov took a check there from Hoganson. The puck goes into the Quebec zone. Now it's cleared back and brought out by Tardif. Tardif up on the right side to Kluche. Shoots it into the corner. Leduc chases it in there. Babinov got there first. Tardif then ran into Babinov. Puck rolls in front. And it's Mikhailov ahead to Petrov. Petrov, number 16, a long shot. Deflected, and it goes wide. Hoganson off the boards to Kluche. Kluche gets it back to Barry Legg. Legg up to Mark Tardif, going in with Leduc. Tardif bumped there by Mikhailov and lost the puck. Mikhailov coming up with Harlamov, 2-on-1. There's a shot, and Michel DION stopped that. Hoganson off the glass, gets it out to Leduc. Tardif couldn't control it. Brought back by Mikhailov, over to Petrov. Petrov's weak shot missed the net. Harlamov moves up. He's checked there by Tardif. Tardif in the corner, and he's pinned against the boards with 8.5 minutes remaining in the third period.
Tremendous stop right there by Michel DION as the Nordiques guilty of coughing up the puck. In that case, it was Mark Tardif. A long look at it from back of Tretiak. Now he switched the camera angle, and a super skate save that time by DION. He has played very well.
Well, we've heard so much about the goaltending of Michel DION, Dick, and he's certainly showing it tonight. He's been outstanding in this game. 5-4 with 8 minutes and 19 seconds left now in the third period. Puck is fired into the Soviet zone. This is Luchenko in after it. Hislop got there first. Hislop at the side, takes it behind the net. He's there with FTOREK. FTOREK got away from Zluktov. FTOREK still has it. Checked by Makarov. The puck rolls in front. Hislop's weak shot, and Tretiak covers up and holds on at the side of the net.
Soviets have had 30 shots on goal in the previous two games in Montreal and Buffalo. They had only 35. That's the total. So they've had a bit more room to manipulate tonight here against the Nordiques.
Luchenko comes out now. He's comes off the ice, and he's replaced on defense by Sergei Starikov. Balderis drops it back to Starikov. FTOREK moves in to check him. Puck rolls to Reggie Thomas. Thomas trying to get it back to the line, and Hart couldn't control it there. Here's Makarov slipping and falling. FTOREK on the left side brings it back for Quebec. Watched by Kazadanov, scooped it into the corner, and it's Starikov. Starikov is stopped by Hislop. Hislop with Thomas in front. He shoots all around the net, and Tretiak stopped that. Hart couldn't stop it into the line, and it's goes out to center ice. Robbie FTOREK with 7.5 minutes left in the third period. Hislop takes the pass over to Thomas, back to FTOREK, and Slutov tied him up before he could get a shot away. The Soviets slap it to the line. Balderis out to center, but it's intercepted by Hislop as Thomas goes off. And the Nordiques use the opportunity to change their complete line as they've really dominated play the last minute or so. Here's Balderis bringing it back, though, for the Soviets. Balderis faking a shot, then the puck rolled off his stick. Goes to Barry Lay. Tried to set it up to Stewart, and he couldn't control the pass there, but he runs into a Soviet player. It's cleared out to number 24, Sportsev. Over the line to Varnikov, back to Sportsev. Sportsev bumped against the boards, goes after the puck. Pinned against the boards again, and it's held there. And we check now in our intermission studio, and here's Ron.
After tonight's game, stay tuned for the Molson International Awards to be presented to the top player in each team. We've got a couple of very attractive paintings to be presented. We've had names like Varnikov, Slutov, and Balderis win this award. I'm sure Balderis is one of the ones that will be considered in this game tonight. Wolf Nielsen won for the Rangers, Bob Gainey for the Canadians, and Don Edwards for Buffalo. How about the names of Dion and Fitchner when you're looking in that direction, gentlemen?
Okay, Ron, both have been stars, no doubt about that, for this Quebec team tonight. Puck is hammered against the boards there, but it got loose, goes over to Barry Legg. Legg clears it off the boards, trying to get out with Pierre Plante. He's helped out by Legg. Over to Bernier. Bernier moves in, Fedosov slipped and fell, takes it behind the net, but he couldn't get a shot away, and a big opportunity as the Soviet defenseman Fedosov slipped, allowing the Quebec player to move in on right side, Dick, and that was a big opportunity they missed.
Oh, you wonder what Serge Bernier was thinking when the defenseman Fedosov fell right in his backside, and he had nothing but room moving it on the right side. Of course, it's always easier up here or sitting at home watching it on television, but what a glorious chance he was handed by the Soviet defenseman when he fell down. There you see Fedosov hitting the deck just outside the blue line. Bernier didn't get a shot away. Moved in, changed his mind when he saw the defenseman sliding across. But he had a chance to let it go when he had the step or two on that other man.
So it remains 5-4 for the Soviets with 6 minutes and 5 seconds left in the third period. This is Tardif trying to get it in front to Fitchner. Harlamov up to Mikhailov. Mikhailov on right wing, back to Harlamov, going in, a shot, he scores! Harlamov, and it's 6-4.
Well, that's what the Nordiques had to guard against, and they couldn't quite do it. Getting caught up the ice as they tried for the tying goal. In that case, the defenseman caught up the ice was Jerry Hart, not normally an offensive type defenseman. That left Paul Baxter the only man back, and the Soviets cashed in, and it's 6-4. You don't give those old pros on the Soviet a big line. They've come up with the Class 2 Soviet goals. But when somebody like Harlamov sees the chance, boy, they didn't waste any time. Bitter tic-tac-toe with the puck between Harlamov and Mikhailov, and Valery Harlamov moves the Soviets ahead by 2, 6-4.
And defenseman Fedosov was right there in case there was a rebound. Here's Tardif's shot, hit the side of the net and goes wide. 5 minutes, 41 seconds left in the third period. It's 6-4 for the Soviet Central Red Army. Now it's brought out by Makarov. Got to center, over to Kazadanov, back to Makarov. Makarov trying to get it to Balderis, and Jerry Hart breaks that up. Kazadanov stopped it at center. Fitchner in turn lost it to Makarov. It goes over to Baxter. Baxter passed it out. Luchenko hammered it in, catching Balderis there offside. 6-4 for the Soviets. Super Series 80 pauses for a moment.
Well, there's the story on the clock. Time to go, 5:18. The Nordiques again down by 2. They were down by 2 to start this period, and they caught up 4-4. Now the Soviets goals.
Goals by Hislop and Fitchner had it tied at 4-4, but Mikhailov and Harlamov, the two veterans, have given the Soviets that 2-goal edge. Here's Sportsev going into the corner, puts on the brakes. Kovin's in front, but the pass never got through. Varnikov at the side, and Michel Dion blocked that. Goes against the boards. Brackenbury trying to get it out. It moves right in front. Here's Kovin trying to get a shot, and he was stopped by Hoganson. Puck is cleared outside the line. Stopped there by Volchenkov, and they hold it against the boards. And let's go back to our intermission studio. Here's Ron.
Well, the Quebec Nordiques have a history in international exhibition play. December 12, 1978. Soviets beat the Nordiques 6-3. As you can see there was a 3-3 tie well, almost a year earlier than that. And then remember that game that was on CTV, January 8th, 1977. The Nordiques hammered the Soviets in that game, 6-1. The star of the game was Kurt Brackenbury.
And here with 4:39 remaining in the game, it's 6-4 for the Central Red Army. Goes around the board. Moving up is Volchenkov. He couldn't get to it. And Jerry Hart has it. Cleared it. The pass intended for Goulet goes right into the Soviet zone. And it's icing as the puck is touched there by Starikov. And Dick, it'll be a case of Jacques Demers pulling all stops now.
Bernie, the name of the game is taking advantage of your scoring opportunities. And we saw quite a contrasting situation here. Bernier had what looked like a big one for the Nordiques when he moved down the right side. Didn't cash in on it. A couple of minutes later, the Soviets got a break, 2-on-1. And they scored, make it 6-4.
Back to the action. The puck is cleared off the boards. Jamie Hislop trying to get it out. FTOREK helped him, but it goes to Harlamov. Harlamov then is stopped, and it's Reg Thomas. Thomas to FTOREK. FTOREK coming up with Hislop, getting set, rolls it in front, and Thomas was stopped there by Babinov. Now the Soviets, Mikhailov drops it there for Harlamov, a shot. Jerry Hart blocked that and deflected it into the corner. FTOREK slaps it, but not out. Here's Babinov coming in for the Soviets. Babinov, number 4, overskates it, gets it again. Babinov behind the net. Mikhailov, number 7. Mikhailov for the Soviets. Moved it in front to Petrov. Petrov rolls it to the other side to Babinov. His shot deflected right on. And DION stopped that. 3.5 minutes remaining in the game. 6-4 for the Soviets, and the puck is cleared outside the line of Petrov. Harlamov couldn't control it. Here comes Hislop. Hislop for Quebec. Got the pass to Thomas. Thomas back to FTOREK. Kept it into the line. Shoots it into the corner to Thomas. Thomas watched by Babinov. There's a shot. And FTOREK sent that high and wide. Back in his own zone is Paul Baxter. Baxter for Quebec. Swings away from Zlukov, but lost the puck to Makarov. Over to Zlukov. Zlukov going in against Leg. Takes it in behind the net. Here's Zlukov. And moving right in front is Makarov, and they slap away. Balderis couldn't get a shot. Now it's against the boards. Zlukov bumps with Stewart. They kick it loose. Luchenko moves up. His shot hit Paul Baxter. Now Goulet on the left side going in for Quebec. A weak shot, and Tretiak stopped that as Goulet was taken heavily into the boards by Kazadanov. Kazadanov now for the Soviets. Off the boards to center. 2.5 minutes left. 6-4 for the Soviets. This is Bernier. He's stopped. The puck goes to Balderis. Balderis going in against Baxter. Right in front, a shot. Oh, and MICHEL DION deflected that wide. Leg runs into the Soviet player Makarov. They hammer away at the side, and it's held there for a whistle. From the Coliseum, the Central Red Army and the Québec Nordiques in Game 5 of Super Series 80.
We've talked earlier how the Soviets have gone so much more to the slap shot in recent years, but right here we see HELMUT Balderis, the old style, shooting off the stick handle as he moves the puck through the 2 Nordique defenders. DION gets enough of it to deflect it wide, but that was a good, quick shot.
Final 2 minutes and 7 seconds in the game. 6-4 for the Soviets. Here's a chance now. Oh, and that shot just goes wide as Kluche broke in and got a shot that just missed the net. Inside the Soviet line. Tardif tried to keep it in there. It's shot down the ice. And this is WEIR going back after it. It's icing against the Central Red Army.
And time is running out on the Nordiques. 1:47 left. I don't know if Jacques Demers is in the habit of pulling a goaltender when his team is down by 2.
There's Tardif out there, remains with Bernier. Holgensen, FTOREK is on the left point on this face-off in the Soviet zone. Fitchner, who has 2 goals, number 12, will take the draw against Kovin. Vladimir Kovin, number 25. Puck slapped back to number 14, Starikov. He lifts it all the way down the ice, right to goaltender DION, but FTOREK just grabbed it before it got to DION. 1:35 remaining. Here comes Kluche, stopped by Starikov at the line, gets the puck again, back to Hoganson. Hoganson sends it over to Robbie FTOREK. The Soviets lead 6-4. It's shot in. And this is 14. Starikov off the boards and down the ice, and again it'll go right towards the goalie. Goes through the crease, so there's no icing. FTOREK is bumped there. The puck goes loose. Fitchner with 1 minute and 8 seconds left. Fitchner ahead to Kluche. Kluche up with Tardif. Takes it into the corner, drops it back, and that shot just goes wide off Fitchner's stick. The final minute of the game. Now the Soviets, Skvortsov going in with Harlamov and Babinov, who takes the pass. Babinov's weak shot, and he was knocked off stride before he could get a real good shot on goal. 45 seconds left. This is Fitchner. Backhands it to the Soviet line. It's broken up there. FTOREK into his own zone. FTOREK, watched there by Petrov. Lacroix goes in to help out. Now it's brought back by Thomas. Thomas gets it ahead to Leduc. Shot into the Soviet zone, and it's knocked down there. We'll have a face-off in the Soviet zone, Dick, with 23 seconds left.
Well, the Soviets have had a total of 34 shots on MICHEL DION. This is by far their best offensive effort in this current edition of Super Series. And the Nordiques gave it a pretty good shot here in the third period, I thought, when things started. Does he keep the stopwatch going even with 23 seconds to go? I don't know.
There's Hart and a shot right on, grabbed by Tretiak. Saw an interesting statistic in the Globe and Mail. Involved all Canadian teams in the NHL competition against each other. And in the Canadian division, Quebec had 14 points leading, with Toronto 11, Winnipeg 10, Vancouver 9, Montreal and Edmonton 8, for what that's worth.
Who was that with Edmonton 8?
Montreal and Edmonton.
Are you sure that, Bernie?
We better check that one. Okay, the puck is cleared outside the line at center. 15 seconds remaining. This is Tardif, gets the puck away from Mikhailov, over to Babinov, and he shoots it in. Time running down. It's 6-4 for the Soviets. 5 seconds left, and that'll be about it. Here's Tardif shooting the puck. It's knocked down, backhanded in, offside, and there goes the siren, and the game is over. And the Soviets, after seeing Quebec come back to tie it in the third period, broke away with 2 goals by Mikhailov and Harlamov. One at 7:36, the eventual winner, the other at 14:06. And the players congratulating their respective goaltenders, the Soviets with Tretiak, and their backup goalie there is Alexander Tishnik. So as they shake hands, the final score, the Soviets 6, Quebec 4. We'll return with the most valuable awards in a moment.